Okay, so as someone who hasn't listened to enough Deicide to have full context on their discography, basically I haven't listened to all their albums. Going into this one, I wasn't expecting to be like blown away or anything. I guess just an LP full of like brutal death metal riffage and fury. And I got that, but the more I thought about it, I was like, okay, there's heavy brutal riffs, but what else? And here's the thing. Brutal riffs are cool and all, but if that's the only thing you can bring to the table, then you're pretty one-dimensional. And that's basically what Deicide does with Banished by Sin. They repeat the same stuff they've already done to death, making this album pretty easy to forget about and skip over. In a nutshell, this album is the same song written 12 times to the point where they're entirely indistinguishable and dumbed down. If all you're looking for in a death metal record is just non-stop back-to-back heavy riffs, thudding bass, brutal gutturals, and blast beats, then you'll probably enjoy this. But for me, I like music to have at least a little bit of nuance and dynamics, you know? Other than some more melodic parts and cuts like Faithless, Bury the Cross with Your Christ, and parts of A Trinity of None, everything here is honestly pretty damn lame and generic. As I've stated in other reviews, competent instrument performances and production does not a great album make. Here, I mean, all the musicians can play well. Kevin Quirion and Taylor Nordberg are both competent guitarists and can play decent riffs and leads. Glenn Benton can play the bass in times with the drums, and his vocal parts are actually pretty solid, but they do get kind of samey as the album progresses. And Steve Shame can play blast beats and fills, and is a pretty standard death metal drummer, I guess. Yeah, he's good, but again, the problem is the musicians not being able to play. It's what they do with their skills, and here it's really not much. Now, speaking of the production, for whatever reason, everything is insanely polished and cleaned up. The bass is incredibly prominent, and all the instruments sound very defined and rigid, but like lacking an edge. Deicide's best work is known for having like a somewhat scrappy, unpolished mix, and which again gives it an edge and made it great, made it like revolutionary in death metal. With that now taken away, it only makes an already lame album even more lame. Like, listening through this, I was honestly pretty bored. I kept saying, God damn, do something interesting, employ more melodies, or have an instrumental break or something. With all the songs sounding incredibly similar, there's no reason to even bother talking about the tracks that much, which I normally do in most of my reviews. But here, they're indistinguishable. There's really like not much like difference between most of them. There is one I do want to mention, and that is the closer, The Light Defeated, which halfway through starts getting like all technical and flashy, and as people have pointed out, it feels like they're in the studio going like, oh shit, this is the final track, we gotta end this thing with some crazy shit. You just go nuts and show off all the sweeps and crap you can play and go all technical. It's kind of feels like kind of haphazard, like just kind of sloppy and thrown together at the last minute. Throughout this whole thing, it's just the same riffs and blast beat grooves with deep guttural vocals used in the verses and these backing higher pitched gutturals to accompany most of the song's choruses. But GSI, they just don't do much to change things up here. And then we get to the lyrics. Oh God. I mean, even though I'm not really a fan of religion whatsoever, Glenn Benton is such an edgelord that I'm fully convinced that Glenn has this like crazy secret serum that he actually takes that keeps him at the age of 12 forever, because I straight up refuse to believe that a grown man wrote this shit. Here are some actual lyrics from the album. Wrath of the holy, God is no more, Satan possess me, no savior reborn, fuck your religion, sever the tongue, source of division, the cross of the righteous one, that's from Sever the Tongue. Time to dismantle the prophet, sharing belief in his blood. I will see you all in hell, kick in the face of your Lord. It's from Faithless. And then we have one more from Bury the Cross with Your Christ. Oh, yeah, a couple more. Fatal discretion, just simply unseen, crawl through the darkness and die. Done with religion and calling it quits, bury the cross with your Christ. And then this last one's from The Light Defeated. Rain, chaos, mass worship, prepare the rise of Satan. End heaven, gods befall, angels, they reek of torture. Oh God, no God, this is actually kind of funny and like hilarious, but it's really sad at the same time that, how old is Glenn Benton now? Like 60 or something? Maybe he's not that old, but like I think he's in his 50s. A grown 50-ish year old man wrote this. This is awful. This is absolutely horrible. This is like A 12-year-old would think this is badass and see this as some huge revelation. Oh, God. And there are similar problems with the new Kerry King album, which I can't wait to get to and rip to shreds. That is going to be such a fun one to review. Oh, man. Glenn, would it kill you to write about something else for once? Satan is not scary or shocking anymore. No one cares. I mean, even other bands that bash Christianity do it with more finesse than this. I mean, like, come on, like, just look at, like, what, like, Nile are doing. Like, they write about, like, Egyptian gods and stuff, and it's not, like, even, like, so much, like, bashing anything. It's just, like, cool mythology or whatever. This is just ape-man nonsense. And, again, I can already see 13-year-olds hearing this and basing their entire personality off of it, thinking it's some grand revelation or brand new worldview that's just been discovered or whatever. So if you like death metal that's just kind of basic, something to bang your head to without much thought and don't really care about dynamics, nuances, production, and if Deicide's earlier stuff is like your favorite death metal ever, then this album is most likely for you. You'll probably enjoy this. If you do, again, more power to you. I don't care if you like what I dislike or if you dislike what I like. Like, yeah, anyway. But for the rest of us, it's just another generic LP that were it to be the debut album of some up-and-coming band, no one would give a crap. Like, I think nobody would care if this was, like, by some unknown band or some super underground band. But because it's Deicide, people are, like, all gushing over it and stuff. Yeah. And, yeah, it's not all bad. There's some cool riffs and vocal parts here and there. But while it's not horrible, this is pretty damn bad and dull, which is one of the worst kinds of suckage, is if it's just kind of dull. It's, yeah. So some redeeming qualities. Again, there's a couple cool moments here and there of like, there's like some melodeath moments and some kind of technical moments. But overall, like, I'm going to give this a 34 out of 100. This is just would not recommend. There are plenty of other death metal LPs released this year that are infinitely better. The new Nile one comes to mind. And I need to check out more. Let me know recommendations for death metal LPs that came out this year, because I'm always looking for new stuff to listen to. I want to check out the new 200 Stab Wounds album, as well as the new album from Gatecreeper and Crypt Sermon. So, yeah. Well, hope you enjoyed. Oh, and one more thing. I totally almost forgot the elephant in the room. The AI album artwork is also one of the worst album covers I've ever seen. Just stop.